Here's the reason why 99% of content creators and entrepreneurs, despite having a huge following on social media, can't build a successful, profitable business. And this comes from a conversation that I had with one of my clients just recently. And they were frustrated because despite having hundreds of thousands of followers on social media, their business wasn't producing the revenue that they thought it was going to have. And so we had to take a deep dive on what was really going on in their business. And there were three key things that stood out, and it explained why they weren't able to capitalize on the traction that they already had. And so after working through this with me, you know, they got a whole new perspective on how to actually structure their business to move forward in success. And so today I want to help you through those same three things so that way you can avoid the same mistakes that he made in his business. Now stay tuned for number three, because number three is the most important step of all. So let's dive in. So the first thing that we actually uncovered, and this is something that I see with a lot of entrepreneurs and content creators, right? And it was this: you can't, you have to change your belief that visibility is going to equal success. Because here's the thing: visibility without authority, it won't convert leads or impressions to clients. Like, you can have a big audience and still be broke. Like, you can have lots of followers, lots of engagement on your content, but if you're not positioned correctly, you won't be able to convert those people into actual clients. And so that's the clear valuable part of social media. Social media is for connection, right? You already have the connection in getting their attention, but if you're not positioned as the clear solution to a problem that they already have, then the work that you're doing is just for entertainment. And so people like your content, but they don't view you as the go-to expert, the go-to solution for help, right? When you actually position yourself as the expert, as the go-to solution, people are willing to pay you for the solution that you have. And so without that positioning, your attention is just noise. It's just like a clanging cymbal. People can look at you, but they not going to pay for that, and that's not what we want for you. And so getting attention isn't enough, especially if you can't position yourself as the trusted authority in the space that where you are. And you have to be able to solve a valuable problem that they have. And that is the first piece of how you actually convert, you know, your audience into actual clients. And so the second thing that I actually found out while working with them, and this was equally as important, and this was one of the biggest reasons why great content creators still struggle to actually monetize their influence and their audience, right? And it's because the reason why content creators can't monetize their audience is because they have no client journey. Like, there is no clear path that you're taking them on. And so, you know, my client was actually posting great content, right? But there was no structured path or a way for them to actually take them from just liking their content to actually taking them to a lead and to a client, right? He didn't have that path to where, you can actually have that conversion into a client. Because without the actual path, where are you going? It's just like you walk into a stop sign, but the only thing left in front of you is a whole plethora of bushes. So if you haven't carved out a path for them to actually keep going, they're not going to keep going. So you can have the audience, but if you don't carve out that path for them, you won't have clients, you won't have revenue, which equals you don't have a business. And so, no intentional lead magnet, no clear next steps. If you don't have a conversion process, that's probably one of the reasons why you don't have clients in your business, right? Having the audience is good. You did half the work, but the other half has to be done also. So even if your audience is engaged, they're just going to be stuck in watching your content instead of buying your solution. And so if you don't create a clear path for somebody to actually become a client, your audience will stay fans and not customers. And so fans don't build businesses, right? Clients do. So think about it in this way: you can be a rapper or whatever, and you can be putting out your music and all those things. They're fans of yours, but until they actually become come to your concerts, all you doing is just putting out music for people to listen to, right? So that's what we want to do for our business. We want to give them a clear path to actually support us. So that's what you need in your business in order to help you get more clients and a better business. Now, I told you that number 3 was the most important part, but before I get to number 3, I want to invite you to the same thing that I had my clients do in order to get this same level of clarity in their business. So if you're an entrepreneur, a coach, consultant, service provider, and you need help in your business also, make sure you click the link down below or comment down below launch, and I'll send you the free special training that they went through in order to get clarity on their business. And so the third thing was that, this one actually hit home for them and it made clear sense, right? And so this is one of the most common traps that I see in the creator space. Your offer is not aligned with who you are and what you're actually creating content on. So the client was trying to sell offers that they thought their audience actually wanted, but they didn't build an offer that was actually aligned with who they truly were and the problems that they were called to serve or called to solve, right? You can say, "Oh, I think this will be great for these people," but if the people don't want that, then the offer that you have is useless. Because if you want pickles and I come over here and say, "Hey, here's a bun," you don't want that. If you want McDonald's, but I take you to Wendy's, you gonna be mad. You don't want that. So you have to have an offer that's actually aligned with your audience and with who you are. Because if it's not aligned with who you are, then there's going to be some misalignment between you and your client. And if the offer even isn't structured to your actual client, it doesn't matter how good you like that offer. If they don't like it, then you're not getting paid. And so all of this actually results into burnout, not having sales or having inconsistent sales or actually frustration on, dang, I'm not getting people to come to my business. And so when you actually align your offer with your identity and your authority, that's when you naturally attract the right clients and the people who actually want to pay for what you have. And the business actually starts working for you and not on you. Right. The business is going to work on you until it works for you, but the only time it actually starts working for you is when you actually get in line with the right things. And so when your offer is built from who you are, not just the way that the market or the trends actually say, that's when the business actually starts giving you life and starts attracting the right clients. So you have to get energy from the business that you have created, because if the business that you created is draining more out of you, then that's not a business that's going to be sustainable. And so here's how we can actually shift from all of those things and actually start building a real successful and profitable business that actually gives you freedom and not just followers. So remember, we have to build authority. So how do we build authority? That means we have to package our expertise up in such a way and position ourselves as the trusted solution for the problem that the people have. Now, secondly, you have to create that client journey. So that means structuring your marketing to intentionally move people from just being curious on what you do to actually being a client. So they can be curious, but if you don't have the path, they can't become a client. And lastly, you have to align your offer. So that means you have to build your identity first. You have to understand who you are as a person before you can actually craft an offer. Because again, if you craft an offer that the people don't want, then they're not coming. But if you don't build an offer that's rooted in who you are, then you're going to be burnt out and frustrated because it doesn't align with who you are. So your business actually it has to fit your life and feel your purpose. And so this is exactly why I teach the identity to influence framework in the free training that I gave told you guys about earlier. So this is about structuring your business the right way so that way it finally starts working for you and instead of working on you. or it actually working on you, or whatnot. And so if you want to learn more about this and actually apply this to your own business, make sure that you check out the free CEO Launchpad training down below. Comment the word launch, and I'll send you that link to actually sign up for it. And so if all of this actually helped you, make sure that you type launch or type what you thought about this video, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.